Warning. The following video contains scenes of a creepy and horrifying nature that may be home to the occasional jump scare and spoiler, as we cover the top 5 creepiest video game Easter eggs. In Roller Coaster World for the PlayStation 2, a title that allows you to oversee the creation of your theme park from a positioning of rides, buildings and right down to the finer details. It is if you create the haunted house and purchase a ticket for yourself and wander inside that you are greeted with a rather creepy setting, where a series of passageways await, the floorboards creak underfoot and these ghoulish creatures try to track you down and kill your character before you can escape. However, there is something even stranger here, as if you just stand around and listen, you will hear this. And by taking this particular track and reversing it, you are actually greeted with a secret message that is oddly found in a game rated for everyone.
Satan comes soon, evil devil comes alive. You can live no more. He takes you to his old world. It called hell.
Once you reach the second level of the apartment building in Bloober Team's psychological horror title of The Observer, you will come across door 202, which is locked and requires a key code to open it. But by heading around the corner to the washing machines, you can discover a tablet which activates the monitor just outside the room and which produces a secret code to unlock the door, and allowing us to explore a bizarre Easter egg that references Kojima's PT.
I can't get out. Someone help me, please.
In the third instalment, known as The Tormented within the Fatal Frame series, a title that is much like the others, creepy, dark and filled with ghosts that you never quite know when they're going to turn up. There are quite a few oddities and strange things that happen that you might not have noticed, from the doll's hair that continually grows as the game progresses, to the strange stain outside the altar room that progressively changes as the hours roll by. Then there's the creepy girl counting to 10 if you hang around the pause menu for long enough. And just like the other titles, if you wait around for 5 minutes exactly without touching the controller, then you are greeted by the face of Rika. The Bayou in Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely one of the creepiest places I've ever visited in a video game, where the ghost tomb appears during the early hours of the morning to the night folk that literally jump out of nowhere and attack you. But then there is this dwelling to the west, which upon entering you are greeted with a candlelit room, numerous paintings and messages that mostly decorate the walls and that seem to predict the future or tell us about things that happened in the past. However, the main thing I want to concentrate on is the central portrait, as once you take control of John Marston during the latter part of the game, the painting will begin to gradually transform if you continue to revisit this location, and where eventually you will walk in not only to see a completed picture of the strange man, and the same man John goes on to meet in Red Dead Redemption within the I Know You side missions, but if you happen to look into the mirror and just as you have walked in, then you will spot the strange man standing directly behind you, and if you happen to turn around to get a closer look at him, then he would have vanished into thin air. There are many theories about the strange man that include him being a god, the Grim Reaper, the devil, a demon, or even one of the four horsemen known as pestilence, associated with infectious disease and plague. As not only does he seem to have a fascination with John, but he also appears to have a connection with Herbert Moon and shopkeeper in Armadillo, a town that has had numerous diseases and currently cholera that has already claimed half the lives of the town's people.
Armadillo is unwell. Devil has the town in his hand.
Yet it is Herbert Moon who is the only one that is well,
What's your secret, Herbert Moon? Damn it, I want to know.
and is the only one in the town who goes on to survive the outbreak in the end, and it is believed he has made a deal with the devil, the so-called strange man, and so happens to even sport a picture of him behind the shop counter. And there is a lot more to this story which is for another day, but you have to say, this is all rather creepy. Within the layers of fear, created by the same developers as The Observer, if you set the date on your computer to the 31st of October and wander down into the basement, there is a door at the end here that is usually locked. But since it is now Halloween, the door will now open, revealing a small room bearing a Ouija board, which if you utilise to input certain words, it will initiate some creepy secrets.